Evening, everyone. Hope you're all well. Welcome to Leeds View for the post-match reaction to Chelsea 2, Leeds United 2. An absolutely nuts game of football. Throat's a bit sore. I've got a flu, and also I was shouting a lot. So bear with me if there's lots of pauses in this. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all having a good evening. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope your pulses are starting to come down just a little bit as well. That was one of those games where you just felt it was gone, and then it wasn't. And even then, I did think the goal will be ruled out, and it wasn't. So all's well that ends well, I suppose. Before the game, I think we'd have all taken a point, happily probably taken a point. And then the way the game panned out, I think we definitely would have taken a point. But it did feel when Chelsea got their second goal that was it. The game was going to be done. But this Leeds United side don't give up. And whatever you want to say about players or managers or ownership or whatever, this team don't give up, and the character they showed to get back into this game and get what could be a very valuable point. Currently, as I'm doing this live, West Ham United are beating Manchester United, and Spurs, I believe Spurs lost. They did to Newcastle. So I think we've gone above Spurs, but we do need that other lot across the way to do us a favour tonight. But yeah, an interesting game of football, a very unusual team sheet to say the least to start off the game that Daniel Farke put out there. We're all trying to figure out is Sebastian Borneo playing up front? Is James Justin in midfield? What's the side? And it ended up being Jayden Bogle behind Lucas Mecha with Brendan Aronson. And I think we can all say with relative authority that it didn't work. It was a bold idea, but it didn't work. I think Sebastian Borneo had a really, really tough day. Not just him. But yeah, was struggling with the space that Joe Pedro was finding himself in. There was a lot of space in the first half and parts of the second half. They managed to sort it out at times, but Leeds kept going, got forward. The change of the side back to a more normal looking front two behind the main striker with Noah Okafor coming in. I don't know, Okafor when he came in was a massive difference for Leeds. And James Justin going back to that right side centre back, all of a sudden, we just looked an awful lot more assured, less open, less panicky, less space. So yeah, really, really good that the change were made. Look, they always say you judge a team sheet retrospectively. You can look back on it and say, well, he shouldn't have done what he did. But if you got a result, tactical genius, you don't get a result. What were you thinking? And that's the world managers unfortunately live in. But ultimately, on the road to get a point against Chelsea, we've taken 4 points off Chelsea this year. We've taken 2 points off Liverpool. They haven't beaten us this season. We've done so well against the sides up there. And this was a game, this one, Villa away next week, a week after next, and then Man City at home. You could have looked at it and went, we probably won't get anything from them. As long as the gap is still there, or at least we're still in touch and distance, we've got enough. And with Spurs getting dragged right down into it now as well, maybe it's not West Ham. Maybe West Ham is the wrong side because Leeds have moved up to 15th place ahead of Tottenham after tonight's result. So, yeah, it's a weird league this year. We just keep going, keep doing what we need to do. And as Paul has been saying on the channel for a long time, it'll likely accordion. The gap will likely get smaller before it gets any kind of bigger. We will get your comments in the second half. If you're listening on the audio platforms, if you could give us a channel rating and leave a comment. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you could hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we do daily needs news as well. You can subscribe. Well, all of our content is available in audio and video as well, so you can check all that out. We've also got some sponsors, sponsored by OK Jersey. There's an 8% off code there for World Cup shirts. If you want to get involved, there's a code there at TView, as well as our analysis stuff with the Leeds United official merch and part of the Sports Social Podcasting Network. We just finished a watch along over on Big Up. Thanks to everyone that joined us there tonight. Good crew over there in what was an ebb and flow kind of evening. It started off very much with a first 10 minutes. Yeah, we seem okay. We're keeping hold of the ball quite well. We're moving right decently enough. Not really too much between it. I think the first shot on goal was like 11th to 12th minute or something like that. And that was only a half chance. The Leeds header. And then Chelsea took over the game and pretty much dominated that first half. And there were some mad incidents in that first half. And no more madder than Yacobial in the second half and his decision. Oh, what was a very good game for Yacobial outside of that crazy moment that he had and rushed blood to his head. But overall, performance-wise, not a great first half, but managed to go in at halftime within touch and distance. Then there's a moment of madness at the start of the second half, and you think the game's done. Leeds, that's it, toast. We're not getting anything from this. And then the comeback. And even the goal that we scored, the second goal, I was just waiting on VAR to get involved and ruled the goal out for a handball from Jayden Bogle. They didn't. They ruled it as an accidental handball, which was fantastic. No, Okafor was in there. A crazy second goal. Ball pinging off everybody before Lucas Mecha poked the ball to Noah Okafor for a tap-in. And Lucas Mecha, we're talking about. From a hold-up perspective, not a great game for Lucas Messi. Kind of all over the place, and the ball went into him. His passes were a little bit heavy at times as well. And probably not the best game he's had in a Leeds United shirt, but he'll walk off the pitch with a goal and assist to his name. So I suppose job done from a striker's perspective if you can get a goal and assist. His penalty was very well taken as well. Jayden Bogle, very good tonight. Very, very good in the penalty and also involved in the second goal as well. It is crazy to say Jayden Bogle is still one of our best attacking players. James Justin, for me, though, probably one of the best players that Leeds had today. He's just so calm on the ball. But you can write part of that game off and go awful. And then he can take part of that game and go really good. And I've said this for weeks and I'll keep saying it. Leeds are at their absolute best when they go at teams. And in this game, when we sat off and gave them space, we looked fragile. There was too much space. They could play around us. But when we got at them and when we pushed on and we actually committed to try and get bodies forward, they looked shaky. And I thought at one point before the 90th minute and the injury time kicked in, we could win this. We could actually win this. And there was a moment where Brendan Aronson ran onto a ball after, I think it was Okafor blocked the clearance and Aronson just ran onto it and volleyed it first time. And it was blocked by Shalaba, but that could have flown into the back of the net. And what a result that would have been for Leeds. And then you're trying to manage the game out. That last 6 to 8 minutes was very much heart in mouth kind of situations. It was incredibly nervy. I was panicking, as somebody said over in the watch along. My inside voice was very audibly heard outside. So that tells you what it was like. It was a nervy last 6 minutes, but they defended really well. Neto was getting probably too much space on the left-hand side. And there's points to how Chelsea played coming into this game that we knew they would play this way. Under Lemar Sr., they make the pitch very big. It's a very different looking side than Maresca's team. They make the pitch big and they look for space to play into. They look for half spaces. João Pedro was consistently staying in an offside position and making these runs back in front of the defence, just threading the needle to try and dip on. He was offside a couple of times, but he caught us twice and he scored one. And that was the issue there, just not watching what was going on behind us. Cole Palmer loves that half space between the midfield and the strikers, and he was getting a huge amount of space to play into. So when you look at the goal that Pedro scores, the question mark will be, why does Sebastian Barnell not mark him closer? Why is he not aware that he's running off his shoulder? It's a very clever run, to be fair, from João Pedro. But if you go back a stage and you look at how much space Cole Palmer was in to pick that pass, that was a problem as well. So the first half consisted of Enzo Fernandez, João Pedro, and Cole Palmer just getting too much space. And it really was a problem. And we dealt with it probably for the better part of the second half until very near the end they started to pick up the ball again, and Neto coming off the bench. And we see players like Neto coming off the bench. They have a hell of a squad to bring players off. Liam Delap coming on in the end as well, trying to put a more physical approach to the game for them the last couple of minutes. But 2 goals in 6 minutes for Leeds were enough to give us a point. And it could be a very, very important point. As I say, it moves us above Spurs. We'll see what happens in the other game. There's now 15 minutes left in West Ham versus Manchester United. It's interesting. We talked about the other night in the podcast. The 3 teams with the best form in the bottom half of the table are West Ham, Nottingham Forest, and Leeds. So maybe it won't be any of us 3 ultimately, but all we can keep doing is picking up points. It's a good point on the road today for Leeds. Any point on the road is good, especially against side 5th in the Premier League. It's a good point on the road. Not necessarily a brilliant performance. And we'll go through it. We'll talk about the team sheet. That's the first thing to get me notes. The first thing to talk about. When the team sheet came out, there was the question mark around why are we playing 6 defenders? Bit Sam Allardyce is when mate Brian sent him a text on. And you kind of looked at him and was like, well, what's he doing here? This is either a stroke of genius or madness, one or the other. Probably fell somewhere in the middle of being a bit of nothing. Jayden Bogle played behind, and you could probably see they're looking for counterattacks and space to run into, but it wasn't working. Jayden Bogle was in a very unnatural position. You can see he wasn't overly comfortable there. The 2 Leeds midfielders, Vita Nampadu and Ilya Groove, seemed to be more 8s than 6, and that was giving Palmer space in the middle of the park. And then the 3 at the back, Barnell just seemed a bit reactive tonight. Very good going forward. He made one run where he left Cucurella for dead and put a fantastic cross into the box. Lovely little check back as well. And he was actually not bad going forward attacking, but defensively, he was a little bit reactive. He was waiting until players got the ball before he went out to them. He wasn't marking close enough, and it was causing us problems. Even in the start of the second half, it was still causing us problems. The change needed made at half time. It was eventually made 10 minutes into the second half, and Noah Okafor comes in and plays goes up front for Bogle, and then Bogle goes right wing back, and James Justin goes back in at right centre back, and that seemed to just settle Leeds down, and that was interesting. But the team sheet at the start, yeah, I don't think he'll do it again. I think he tried something tonight. People are asking him to try things. He tried something. Did it work? No. Did the changes work? Yeah, they did. Because we got back into the game. Overall performance, you can probably break it down to 3 different periods of the game. First 10 minutes, not bad. The rest of the second half, all over the place. Chelsea, again, just superior players, just a much better side. Move the ball better, take care of the ball an awful lot better. We're giving it away an awful lot. We weren't holding the ball up front. We weren't getting players into the game. And we were just conceding space and conceding possession. And we went in 1-0 down. The goal, when it does come, is, as I said, picked up by Cole Palmer in the middle of the park. He threads a ball through because Pedro is offside. And he just makes that run around the back of Yacobial, around the back of Sebastian Barnell into a blind side of him, and then makes the run through. He had a sighter just before that, but he gets through and he just thinks the ball over Carl Darlow. If you're looking at that as the opposition, if you're a Chelsea fan watching that, you think that's a very clever goal by your striker. It's a very smart run by him, but we needed to defend it better and we didn't. We had a couple of edgy moments in that first half where they could have probably done more than they actually did. You go in at halftime 1-0 down and you're like, okay, reset, change this, sort out the issues, and let's go. Again, we came out in the second half and they made a change. They took off Cucurella, which was a strange decision. We'll get to the referee as well, by the way. He was card happy in the first half and card shy in the second half. But Cucurella comes off, Hato comes on. That kind of changed their approach a little bit. I don't know if it was the right decision for them, but they had most of the ball for the first 10 minutes of the second half. They're still very much in the ascendancy, still the better side, still more comfortable than we were. Then Daniel Farkin makes the change. Noah Okafor on for Sebastian Barnell. Off goes Barnell. James Justin goes in. Leeds start to get a hold of the game. And you just think Leeds are starting to come back into this. And then there's a ball played over the top for João Pedro. Again, wasn't sure if he was offside or not, but again, he's treading that line, makes the run into the penalty area. And Yacobial, for reasons only Yacobial will know, does one of the craziest things I've seen any Leeds United player do ever in the penalty area. For no reason, with the player running away from the goal and the ball probably running out of play, he puts two hands on his back and pushes them over, which is crazy. Apparently, the same thing happened against Wolves last week. He got pushed over at the weekend. He got pushed over as well. But a crazy decision. He tries to argue it. The only hope at that point is he offside? And he wasn't. And they get a penalty and they score it. A good penalty by Cole Palmer. Off he goes. Gets man the match as well because he scored a penalty probably. But just a bizarre decision by Yacobial. Absolutely bonkers decision to do that. Don't know what he was thinking. I'm going to say only he will know what he was thinking in that situation, unless he thought the whistle had gone or something, because he was trying to argue with the referee. There was no arguing. It's two hands on his back. It was clear as day. And there was a penalty. And at that point, I think we all said it. That's that. No points today. Dust this off. And even the chat were saying it. Time to start taking a couple of players off and rest them and try and keep them for the next game. But they didn't give up. They didn't. And to their credit, they kept going forward. And we got back into the game. And it was, I have to just check the notes in the build up to this. The first goal. Yeah. Bob it over top. Jaden Bogle runs onto it, takes a touch, gets into the penalty area, gets taken down, leaves the leg hanging a little bit, gets clipped, and down he goes. Penalty to Leeds, which was fantastic. We take the pen. Just checking something there real quick, which my microphone was actually working. Should have checked it beforehand. There you go. Yeah, and he goes down. Penalty to Leeds. And Lucas Mecha, a fantastic penalty, absolutely smashes the ball into the left-hand side, wrong foot's the keeper, and then it goes. And then the next phase of play from Leeds is something similar. A ball goes over the top. Jaden Bogle runs onto it, runs straight through, hits him in the thigh, bounces up kind of between the elbow and the thigh area, goes into the penalty area. It's pinging off players. Bogle is in the mix, running around with everyone. Then he appears to get taken out of it by David Sanchez. So questions that would have been a penalty. Lucas Mecha pokes the ball out with a mix of players, and Noah Okafor standing there to score a second goal in 2 games, 4th of the season, tap in, and Leeds 2-2. And I mean, I even changed the score on our counter on Big Up, and at the same time was saying, this is going to get ruled out for offside, or for handball. 100% this is getting ruled out for handball. And then it wasn't. But what was said on commentary was really interesting. Why aren't Leeds playing the ball over the top more? And it goes back to the first half of the game. We've talked about this an awful lot this season. Why Leeds decided to try and play out from the back against a side like Chelsea, who are very good at pressing. That was a mistake. We've made that mistake far too many times this season to continue to make that mistake. Leeds have been better on the front foot by going direct. And both of Leeds' goals, or the opportunities for those goals, both came from Leeds going direct. Michael is saying thought the referee was awful. He was shocking. We'll get to him in a minute. We will get to him. But yeah, that was the point. Leeds went direct, and all of a sudden we're starting to get joy. Now, I mean direct, not as in big lumping balls up to Lucas Mecha to hold up and no one supporting him. I mean like balls into space that these players could run onto, direct passes more so than long balls. And it was working. And it was working really, really well. Yacobial, I'm going to balance this out because Bial obviously has that moment of madness for the penalty. But in the 79th minute, he makes a fantastic block as well from a chance that they get. Cole Palmer is in the mix along with Joe Pedro, and they get a poke, and he just gets across and blocks it, which was exactly what was needed. Then they had a chance in the 91st minute. Hato in swinging cross, and there was a lot of them coming in at that point that we were all getting a little bit worried about. And there was a header from Pedro that hit the back of the net. Looked like the crossbar, but hit the back of the net, the back of the top of the net, I should say. 93 minutes, they got another chance as well. A smashed cross across the goal line. And Cole Palmer on the goal line passes the ball over the crossbar, which was mad. Absolutely mad. But it was a let-off, I suppose, but maybe we deserved it. We defended really, really well. Yacobiel made some very good defensive blocks. I thought he actually had a really good game outside of that one moment. I thought James Justin was excellent defensively as well. He made some huge blocks in the first half as well to stop Pedro from scoring another goal. So, yeah, look, as it's been said in the chat, the West Ham results probably ruining our day. It's all Manchester United right now. It's still 1-0 to West Ham. But they're in really good form under Nuno. Maybe that's not the side we need to worry about. Maybe it's not. Right now, there's a 4-point gap between us and Nottingham Forest. Maybe that's the one we should be keeping an eye on. But yeah, everyone thinks West Ham are staying up. I would tend to agree. I think Spurs are in real trouble. I think we just need to just keep getting our points and keep moving along. Right now, we've got a point on the board away from home against Chelsea, which is a fantastic point. Again, considering how the game went. I'm going to get to the comments in a minute. Sorry, because there's a few comments I want to talk about. Just some decent comments there I do want to acknowledge. But yeah, ultimately it's 2-2. Leeds get it. And if you go through it, like the first half, I always put like a positive and negative box for both halves. So I try and be as balanced as I can. And in the first half, the positives column was empty. It was nothing. Apart James Justin making a really good tackle. The negatives for the first half were Enzo Fernandez consistently moaning in the referee's face. Why are we playing out from the back? We're getting caught. Ampadu and Gruber playing as eights, and there's far too much space for Chelsea to play in. They were the problems in the first half. The second half, the negatives were the first 10 minutes and the last 6. But even in that last 6 of negatives, there was a lot of positives. How we defended. And we defended incredibly well, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. The positives were, though, the reaction from Leeds. The fact that, and it's been said, maybe the push in the back was the catalyst that Leeds needed to get themselves into gear, but they did. They absolutely did. The changes definitely influenced the game. Daniel Farke gets stick at times for not making change that impact the game. This change impacted the game. You can argue that the formation impacted it in the wrong way in the first place, but again, hindsight on that one. Tonoa Okafor was the difference maker when he did come on for Leeds. He was very busy, helped to push their defense back a bit. They didn't like being ran at. Lucas Mecha all of a sudden starts to come into the game as well a bit more. And yeah, really, really good. And I thought, again, some of the players defended really, really well. Let's talk about the ref real quick because people are asking in the comments. Card happy in the first half. Gave away so many yellow cards. He gives 2 yellow cards early on to Chelsea players that were, by the letter of the law, yellow cards because Leeds players had gotten away from them. They've taken them out. Therefore, it's a yellow card. Straightforward enough. Gabby Goodmunson gets booked for not tackling anybody. Runs into a player, no real contact. 50-50, yellow card given against him. You end up the first half with 5 yellow cards. He was just whipping them out for absolutely everything. And then the second half, he stops giving yellow cards. Joe Rodon gets pushed into the advertising horde by Estevao, who's not going to win the ball. And there's nothing for that. Referee puts himself in a position where he has to stop giving out yellow cards now. And then the second half, he stops giving them completely until Sean Longstaff comes on because he can book him because he's only have to come on the pitch. And he books Sean Longstaff for sliding beside Cole Palmer. No contact at all. Palmer jumps over him, goes down. No free kick. It shouldn't have been a free kick right in the last minute. Puts pressure on Leeds, and Sean Longstaff gets the yellow card. He was infuriated by it, and rightly so. But yeah, Stephen is saying in the chat, Chelsea are a bunch of whiny, overpaid prima donnas. We've taken 4 points off them this year. That'll annoy them more than anything. We're very, very happy with that. We'll jump into your comments now. If you're listening on the audio, I'll probably leave these in. We'll see how it goes. We'll go through the comments. We'll work backwards now. We'll jump all the way to the start and try and bring a few of the beginning comments in. But we'll just start where we are right now. Chelsea, as Stephen has said, a bunch of whiny, overpaid prima donnas. 100% Mr. Cover. Oh, sorry, there's a comment there. I'll get to that in a second. Telly, good evening to you, mate. Says, mate, massive point, but fair play to West Ham United, really putting pressure on everyone. Yeah, they're winning their games. Who wins the match? Who won the match? Who won the match? We won. No one wins the match. 2-2 draw. 2-2 draw. But that's 4 points we've taken off Chelsea this year for a newly promoted side. Absolutely massive. Mr. Whitesnake, Steve, how you doing, buddy? Says the focus is not on what we do and focus is not on what we can do and control. What others do is not our problem. We can only control what we do. 100% correct. Chelsea put a ball on the ground through 5 players in the first half. They did. They cut us open in the first half. I love Leeds. West Ham won't go down. I don't think so. Ref was card happy. Take this. Didn't see a point after the first half. No, me neither. Spurs may be the ones going now. We can pick up Archie in the summer. Has he got relegation release clause in his contract? Buy Archie back now. Referee wasn't fair. Spurs go down. We get Archie back. Getting a point from this game will turn out to be massive. We just keep doing our thing and don't worry about the others. US soccer fan says, smash the like button. Really appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. If you could smash the like, that would be great. Gotta hope Crystal Palace fall apart. They might. Carrick's tactics are being found out. Forest have Wolves tomorrow. It's funny because on paper you would imagine they'll win that game comfortably. They probably will. But I do have a Forest mate who's really worried about that. And I listened to some Forest fans ring and TalkSport, and they said the same thing. They're incredibly worried about that game. They think they'll lose, which is interesting in itself. That tells you what the mindset is. Here we are coming back from being 2 goals down against Chelsea. The side showing great character and being positive about that. Forest are looking at going to West Ham United and thinking they're going to Wolverhampton Wanderers and thinking they're going to lose. So 4 points from Chelsea and move above Spurs. Sorry. Got some bragging to do with some friends. Yeah, I've pinned a lot of comments as well. 4 points off Chelsea in a season is nothing to turn your nose up at. Not at all. Technically the best side in the world if you go off labels. So there you go. I can't help feel that BL giving away the penalty was the catalyst. That was the comment earlier on, Jonathan. Yeah, I think you're right for attacking change. Well, we went for it at that point. I think we should just trust ourselves to go for it more often, because when we do, we're a very good side. When we sit back and try and contain teams, we're not. We've conceded on average 2 goals per game away from home. That tells you an awful lot about how we're setting up, and that needs to be looked at maybe. West Ham are 100% staying up. That Palmer miss was pure comedy. I don't know how he missed it. So happy with that point. West Ham ruining our results. We need 45 points at this rate. Possibly Somerville United, aren't they? Yeah, we were a bit like that the year we went down. Bring on the FA Cup. West Ham United are starting to worry me. I just keep looking to the sides around us. Keep getting points. I said this on the podcast during the week. This is not the time to lose our nerve. This is the time to hold our nerve. The next 3 games, just hold your nerve. Whatever happens, defeats or not, hold your nerve. Winnable games at home are coming. And that's probably where we'll get our points from. So hold our nerve is what we have to do. We ran 8 kilometers more than Chelsea. Chelsea tired. First half, we couldn't touch them. The passing was too good and too quick. We grind most teams down. Great show. Appreciate that, mate. I think you're dead right, Michael. They are a class football team. They got really good players, really good footballers. And they play really nice football. And we just kept going. We just kept going. And there's a lot of credit in that in its own. Honestly, I think we got a bit lucky with Bogle handball decision. Yeah, but maybe we needed a bit of luck, Colin. Maybe we needed a little bit of luck. But I would agree. I 100% thought I was going to get ruled out. Really, really did. If you just put one hand on, they don't get the penalty. But 2 hands it was stupid. And he'll know it himself. He'll probably say it himself. And we've seen that Bogle run the last 2 games now. And he crossed his to the 9 for a fast break. 1 second. Gonna sneeze. Sorry about that. I have got a cold. I thought I'd get through the whole thing without sneezing. I didn't. Excuse me. There we go. PBDS says time stood still for that second goal. What a relief. Yep, absolutely. 3-0. Weren't they? That was a different game. Still think BL thought he was offside. I think he probably did, but still don't play the whistle. Old school stuff. Rodon struggled on the left-hand side. Hopefully Pascal not out for too long. Yeah, I thought in the second half, towards the second half of the second half, we definitely looked an awful lot better. Watching the Man U game. Okay. West Ham will win every game now. Then thank you to everybody. Jim says, I think we had Chelsea rattled when we equalised. Yeah, we could have gone on and maybe got a winner on that. But we'll take the point. Massive point, as everyone says. Robert says, class Chelsea, but can't beat us. Great point. I thought we were dead and gone in that first half. West Ham haven't won yet. Well, they're heading towards injury time now. I think they have. At this rate, yeah. TalkSport will spend hours discussing West Ham tomorrow. Leeds might get 5 minutes. Good. Stay under the radar. Mr. Chelsea mate didn't message me after our game. He did today at 2-0 sweet. Is he talking to you now? I'd say he's pretty quiet right now. Chris says, who do you think will go down? I think it's Burnley and Wolves are done. They're toast. I think it's a toss-up now between Forest, us, Spurs, and West Ham. And Brighton aren't out of it either. Palace are good as safe. The next 2 games are at home to Burnley and Wolves. But if they lose those 2, all of a sudden, I think Strand Larson definitely made a difference from them. He didn't score, but he definitely made a difference for them. We have a tough run, though. Open the best. Yeah, get past these next 2. Villa away, going to the Villa game. And then it's Man City at home, And then after that, you got Sunderland at home. Then you got Burnley Wolves at home. So we just don't want to go to West Ham on the final day of the season. The result, we don't want that. But their home form's turned around to beat Manchester United. I actually thought Manchester United, it's all Manchester United in the second half by the momentum graph, but looks like that game's going to wrap up as it is. DCL had a tummy bug. He got a flu, I believe, which, no harm in giving him a rest anyway. I can't wait to see me Spurs fan. Do you know what's interesting? Again, I'll say it again. I didn't think Lucas Mecha had a great game, but he walks off the pitch with a goal and assist. Can't ask for more than that, can you? Not bad for a bad game. I'm sure Brighton are nervous at this moment in time. Yeah, I heard Dan Moylan on Square Ball say there's something weird happening at Brighton. There's a weird vibe around the pitch. They got booed off the pitch at the weekend. Pleasant evening. Love this team. Spurs have an insane run. West Ham ain't going down. Arsenal versus Spurs next. Yeah, then they got but they had Newcastle tonight. 7 minutes of injury time in the Manchester United game. Kind of like our point, Jer, it's winter allergies. I went to Elland Road. I was in a plane twice this week and being around people. I picked up this. It's from the airplanes and hotels. That's exactly what it is. If you look at BL, immediately after the push, he just realized that he was in the box. How did he not know? Look, sometimes you lose your bearings. I've seen goalkeepers pick the ball up a yard outside their box and then go, oh, thought I was in the goal. But yeah. It'd be funny to see big fancy Spurs stadium hosting Oxford next season. I know, right? I know. Do you want to be Birmingham? I don't care about the FA Cup, and I'm sorry if that upsets you. But I don't care. I want to stay in the Premier League. Brighton owners too focused on Hearts. Maybe. There's your problem. People we have, that's what I get for leaving my house. Do we want to be Birmingham? Yeah, 4 points every 3 games is good. It will get us to where we need to get to. James says, a bit like Manchester City away, but without the heartbreaking finish. Fantastic that we've shown that fight twice against the Big Six and worlds apart from how we felt about the team in the relegation season. Oh, more points than I was expecting from the 3-game run. Yeah. James, on your point, mate, just want to say, I think you're 100% bang on the money. There's a different vibe around this Leeds team than the side that went down. Even this side does go down. They'll go down fighting. And you just felt with the side that went down the last time, there was no fight there. There just wasn't. They gave up too easy in games. They went behind in a game and that was it. It was done. Throw the towel in. Fracker made subs at the right time, then BL push Pedro. I know, right? Yeah. Snail says, want to see Facundo get minutes against Brum. Big relegation battle coming up and always. Yeah, and Nanto as well. Need these guys to get minutes. Need them to be sharp and fresh. Chopper Dave says, I want to see a lot of people getting rests this weekend. I'm the same as you. He's never going to play Facundo, is he? I think he plays against Birmingham. That's the opportunity. Look, he has to take his chance, And look, as long as Leeds, there's a question around why does Tanaka not play more? Why does Nanto not play more? Why does blah, blah, blah. And I get the conversation and I understand it. But at the same time, as long as Leeds are picking up points, it doesn't really matter to fans. It shouldn't really matter to fans. I always say the badge on the front of the shirt is far more important than the name on the back of it. But you do need these players to be sharp and getting minutes because they will be needed at certain points. And if we get injuries, we do need players to come in. So you have to find a way of making sure that they get game time. Bemused and befuddled, but utterly delighted. Yeah, there's a lot of head scratching before the game. Should Archie have ever left? Would he have? Well, he won a European trophy, didn't he? Does that, depending on that even playing the cup? Oh, good question. Did he play in the first one, the FA Cup? I don't know. Someone will let us know that. The team are Warriors. Yes, he can play. Okay. Proud of the lads for coming back and drawing 2. All 10 points in the last 12 games gets us to 40 points. Surely that'll be enough. That's Bueno. No. Has Facundo upset Fracca? No, he's back on the bench today. But not the game I would have brought him into. I might have brought Nanto on, but I think the changes were right tonight. I think you got them right. Do we sign Archie back as Spurs go down? Well, that's always there. Facundo played for Chelsea in the Cup, so he can't play. Okay, he's Cup tied. That's that one out of the way. But someone else get an opportunity to play. Folks, I think we'll leave it at that and we'll start to wrap it up. Massive thanks for everyone joining us tonight to have a chat. There's 870 of you watching right now. If you could hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, subscribe as well. We're trying to get to 8,000 subscribers as well. If you can help us out, that would be really appreciated. You can check out today's news video as well, which gives you some updates on some of the potential moves that Leeds will make in the summer, as well as some thoughts and talking points around Leeds transfer strategy coming into that period, and you can check it out if you want it. But a final comment from Anto says, the attitude of the team that went down has a lot to do with how fans felt about that team. Robert is still a Leeds player. You have to tell us a lot. Brilliant point. Pity about the other lot. Thanks, Jer. Thank you. Don't mind if we go down. If we go down fighting, we go down fighting. That's not, we have to just keep doing what we have to do. As everyone says, look after ourselves, pick up the points where we can pick them up, and we'll see where we're going. And as Helen says, very proud tonight. Well done to the boys. Well done, Daniel Farker. Well done to everybody involved in the club. It's a big result on the road. And then we go off to the FA Cup against Birmingham. And then we've got Aston Villa away. Thanks, Murph. See you later, folks. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll talk to you soon. Night. Bye.